In a previous video, I talked about the lore and history of the Creek as a whole, but I didn't get much time to talk about the current generation of Creek kids from Craig's side, and the unique hierarchy and psychology that has sprung up around them. So today we're going to break that all down. But really quick, I want to remind you all of our livestream Q&A with the cast of Craig of the Creek here on Cartoon Universe, Saturday, April 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be hanging out with the cast and asking them questions, and they'll be signing autographed prints all weekend long. You can get your autographed prints with the Streamly link in the pinned comment down below, which I'll include with a link to the live stream itself so you can set your reminder, as well as a link to another video with the full details such as who will be joining us there. After the Great Capture the Flag War, which fought for control of the Creek was empty for a while as kids didn't feel safe playing there as the two factions raged against each other. Eventually, even the kids leading the war would stop going to the Creek too, either because they were in high school or they found that there was no one left to rule over after winning their game. This would leave the space empty for a new generation of kids to start coming into play, and a new Creek hierarchy to form, one that mingled with the other side of the Creek before the overpass came in about 10 years ago. As proven by the absence of children following the previous Capture the Flag War, one of the most important draws of the Creek is the freedom a child has there with little adult supervision, allowing children to play any way they want and develop smaller tribes or groups based off of mutual interest and overlapping psychological playstyles. Most of the groups would be content to keep to themselves with minimal interaction with the other groups or kids, but a universal need that unites all of the children is their need to eat. And with the freedom that the Creek provides, they can eat anything they want, whether it's just the massive amounts of sugar that their parents would never approve of, or gross foods no person should be eating, let alone a kid. Because of this, food becomes the primary form of currency. Most of the children want sugar, and while each kid comes to the Creek with some sugary snacks, most of what they are allowed to bring in excess are healthier snacks that their parents allow them to eat. Instead of simply trading amongst each other, the majority of trades are made through Kit, who runs the trading tree in the Creek, a place where all the kids from various groups have an opportunity to mingle and invite each other over to whatever extra special thing they might be doing that week, whether it's the 10 speeds attempting crazy tricks or whatever crazy shenanigans the stump kids get into each week. Kit helps prop up the snack market by trading good grades in school for Choco Rolls from her grandmother. While all snacks and toys or anything useful can be used in trades, Choco Rolls are something of a standard currency. Despite her mind for profits and her grandmother's constant influx of Choco Rolls, Kit is constantly running low on stock, and her trades don't seem to actually be building her much of a profit. We have seen that she goes out of her way to make sure the snack needs are met for various kids, with her even giving free snacks after intense trades for those with dietary needs. So while all of this is hard for Kit, it is actually part of her playstyle. In it, she gets to learn how to exploit trades, using the healthier snacks in order to maximize possibilities in trades amongst the kids so that everyone gets something they want. But she also gets to take care of the needs of others in that way and be nurturing, which is very common in play for young girls. While she may never make a real profit off of it, she will undoubtedly look back at this time fondly, and likely find herself in a business that makes the best use of the way of thinking she developed with this playstyle. Kit is so important to the Creek kid hierarchy that when she is removed for her summer school and is having trouble keeping snacks going, Xavier is able to flood the Creek with snacks so that he can exert control over the kids. Other kids have their own business operations that help keep the Creek economy flowing as well, such as Alex with their daycare. The various groups of the Creek tend to be made up of kids who share similar interests in the neighborhood, who have all claimed certain territories, such as the Ninja Kids, who hang out at the waterfall, the Sewer Kids, who of course play by the sewers, or the 10 Speeds at the dirt mounds. Other groups are more transient, such as the Junior Forest Scouts, who also act as something of a resource for the other kids, though often an over-imposing one that Craig and the Stump Kids stand up to. While the interest shared by these groups is obvious, the playstyles of each group and how they overlap can be very unique. While I wouldn't call Ren stupid, for instance, what she enjoys about science is more about science fiction, whereas the other members of the Alliance of Science tend to actually focus on experiments and learning with the resources they have around them. Ren in particular is often seen sneaking away to play pretend sci-fi with other children in order to get her fix, but that doesn't mean she doesn't enjoy the actual science she does with the Alliance of Science. And even in episodes like the ones where she helps the Stump Kids discover the Merkid, she's being driven by a sound mind following the scientific discovery that salt is appearing in the creek. When it comes to the Ninja Kids, their interests aren't just in manga, but seem to be the more obscure aspects of Asian pop culture that doesn't reach the other kids in America, getting help from their older siblings who still have more cultural ties to their home countries. Outside of the groups are also loner kids who don't have any one particular group they belong to, and often aren't even liked by the other kids, such as Roger, though he is still always welcome at any of the group events in the name of community. Other loner kids include Sparkle Cadet, or for a while, the Green Poncho, and Wildernessa, who all find ways to interact with other kids of the creek as needed to suit their different playstyles, and I look forward to giving each of them their own dedicated videos to talk about their importance in the creek community, even as outsiders with no official groups. Because the creek is enjoyed as a place for freedom on Craig's side, it doesn't have any royalty like Xavier was as a part of the other side of the creek. That being said, when there is conflict among the kids, the elders are often sought for their wisdom on matters. As the only high schoolers who still play in the creek, they have seen how many conflicts were resolved, and were passed down knowledge from the older kids who came before them as well. This gives them a sense of authority based almost entirely around respect, though they can still lose the respect of individual kids through their own bad behavior. As high schoolers, it is taboo to play in the creek, but they are already geeky social outcasts there, so having a fort in the creek for themselves and sometimes interacting with the children doesn't really change their social lives at school, and with their geekier interests than their classmates, they fit in with kids whose entertainment is often lumped in with geeks' entertainment, as this video more or less proves, as I'm guessing most of you here are adults. Most other kids leave as they enter high school, and those caught playing at the creek afterwards can be easily shamed. The witches do come to the creek now and then, but is more a convenient spot to meet when they have nowhere else in particular to be, or are avoiding somewhere in particular they are supposed to be, but they wouldn't be viewed the way Michelle Green or the elders are viewed for interacting with the kids or playing silly games, even if they are happy to mess with the kids here and there. Finally, we have these Stump Kids, who I hope to talk about individually in their own videos as well, but it is important to note how their playstyles overlap with one another. Most kids in the creek play with each other based off of their mutual interests, and because of that, as discussed before, their playstyles either clash or gel within the groups. Craig's group is based around trying to provide an experience that each of the kids will enjoy, however, with Craig using his imagination to tie in their different playstyles, something he extends to most anyone he is playing with on a given day. This allows him to go on his creek exploring missions while weaving in heroic play for Kelsey by always indulging her, and giving JP physical tasks to do and the freedom to be nonsensical. Craig's ability to indulge most any playstyle helps with his adventures all around the creek, where his sense of adventure helps to further unite the creek the way Kit does with her trading business, making him and the Stump Kids essential to the Creek Kid ecosystem. This is everything I wanted to talk about today for the kids of the creek with their history and psychology, but I plan to talk much more about all of these characters and groups in their own videos, so let me know which characters or groups you want me to cover next in the comments down below. And don't forget to check out the Streamly link in the pinned comment so you can buy an autographed print from your favorite Craig of the Creek voice actor. See you guys at the live stream.